Hello to all my fellow people pleasers and the people who are just curious and clicked on the video. Today's video is near and dear to my heart. I've been talking a lot on this channel about people pleasing, and I've never done a video specifically for people pleasing, and I think it's about time. But I just feel like this video, I'm going to be calling out myself so much. So I put a hold on it. But just know I'm speaking from experience and I'm speaking from growth. I'm not just speaking as someone who went through it and didn't conquer, giving you those advice. But by the grace of God, I have grown. Okay. We're going to get into the 8 signs that you are a people pleaser and how to deal with that, how to navigate that, and how to overcome that. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Creating Unlimited Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer. A lot of people that are blessed with the gift of not caring of what people think, they don't have any people-pleasing bone in them, think that it's just so easy. Just like stop caring about what people think and you'll be just fine. You guys don't know how many times I've heard that. And I'm sure if you're a people pleaser, you can comment below how many times you've heard that. But I'm sure you've heard so many people think like it's like a switch, like you're being a people pleaser on purpose. Like it's something you're doing for attention or you like being in this position. Trust me, if people pleasers could turn off being a people pleaser, they would do it with no hesitation. It's not even something we can physically control. It's so detrimental and a lot of people suffer with it, and it takes years of work therapy. Like this one video you watch is not gonna make you stop being a people pleaser. Trust me, I've watched probably a million videos on people pleasing, read all the books, and went to therapy, and it still took a lot of time. It took a lot because you've been like this for years. This is probably something that's just ingrained in you, and it's going to take work, years. You're going to cry. You're going to be upset with yourself. You're going to beat yourself up when, you find yourself in the same patterns of people pleasing and not putting yourself first, etc. It's a lot of work, okay? And don't underestimate it, because a lot of people think, what's this people pleasing everybody's talking about? It stems from a lot of trauma. And there's been an influx of trauma within people growing up, etc. in this generation. I don't think it's that this generation is weak or something. It's just they go through a lot. I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about how we didn't grow up with our parents having cell phones. We didn't grow up with our parents having cell phones. And it was a realization because she was dealing with her son with the phone and stuff like that on how, it's a whole thing. But we were talking about that. Now, this generation is being raised not just with Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, etc., but the cell phone and all these apps in this digital age that I didn't grow up with Twitter. I'm not trying to show y'all my age, but I didn't grow up with it. Facebook became a thing when I was on my last year of high school. Facebook became a thing, okay? And when it became a thing, it was for college students. It was not even what it is. So with the influx of that, there's been a lot of trauma. And with those, and I won't even get into the science and research of that. That's for another video because I'm not going to make that long. But even technology has its own way of instilling trauma in people. And it's people pleasing when you post pictures for likes, instant gratification, etc. And even when Facebook first came, I was in high school, but I still was posting stuff when they ask you what's on your mind for instant gratification, trying to say the right thing to garner attention and get people towards you. It's just a lot, okay, that this generation is dealing with, that a lot of our elders just don't understand. And so they downplay and call this generation weak, etc. And I'm not a Gen Zer by any, I'm a millennial, but still, I understand my Gen Zers because I mentor a lot of them and I just understand, okay? So let's go to first, because that was a long intro, but let's go to the first one. The first sign you're a people pleaser is that you feel responsible for people's feelings. Yeah, you feel like, listen, if you don't want to hurt someone because you feel like, oh my goodness, if they're hurt by me saying no, say for instance, your friend asked you to babysit, but you had to do a lot of work. You had not only laundry, but homework, stuff like that. You're really tired and you just cannot. You feel like if I say no and she's hurt and feels overwhelmed and like I can't do this, then you put that burden on you and then you can't say no. So you go and babysit only for you to come back home and be overwhelmed because you didn't do your paper. That has happened to me before, from experience before. Not necessarily babysitting for a friend, but family members would want me to babysit, whether my cousins or stuff, whatever. And I had papers to write. I had like 10-page papers, 20-page papers to write, and I just could couldn't say no because I didn't want to hurt the person's feelings. You don't want to break up with an ex that's toxic to you because you're like, oh my goodness, if he's hurt, crying, or this, whatever, or if she's heartbroken. I know men that married women they never wanted to marry because they could not fathom hurting their wives. They're always talking about this. It's not just women that do this. Men are people pleasers too. Newsflash. It's not just a thing for women. Okay. A lot of men are like that, but they just cannot fathom someone being hurt because they're saying no, to where they now destroy themselves, their own mental health, their health, physical health, to put people above them at their own detriment because they don't want to be responsible for someone else's feelings. And it will hold you back a lot. Second, if you find yourself apologizing a lot, we talked about that in my previous video, but if you have an issue with apologizing a lot for things that are out of your control, that's not even your fault. There's nothing you could have possibly done, but yet you're over apologizing for things that is out of the realm of your control, then you might suffer with people pleasing. Okay. A lot of people pleasers say sorry a lot, like just walking. Maybe you didn't bump into anyone or anything, nothing. You're just sorry. Like the word sorry just comes out of your mouth so much, like relax. Third is you cannot say no, which goes hand in hand with you cannot say no because of the first one. You make yourself responsible for people's feelings, which was the second one, that you apologize often because you care about people's feelings. You make yourself responsible for their feelings. So you cannot say no because you already gave yourself the responsibility for how someone else feels. So now like you saying no to them, it's like you saying no to yourself, even if your actual self, your literal self, is suffering from not being able to say no. Do you see how that works? That first one, you have to work on making yourself responsible for people. Because here's what I say, even with the babysitting thing, it's going to sound harsh what I'm saying, but it's something I was told a lot in therapy that was hard to register for me. It's really difficult. Like healing from people pleasing, that guilt, that guilt hurts. Okay. Because what the therapist said is that if someone chooses to have a baby, they chose to have a baby, were you there with them when they were being pleasured? You were not in the room with them. Even if it's an uncle or whatever that's asking. So when that baby comes out and they need help, if it's in your realm of possibility, it's not going to make your grades suffer, your life suffer, because my grades were suffering, then you know what? Hey, go help them out. But if it's not possible for you, it's not feasible, things that are going to suffer in order for you to help this person, then tell yourself, I cannot be responsible for a moment of pleasure you had, and you had a child from that. That is a consequence of what you did. It sounds terrible, right? I know if you're a people pleaser, like, oh, my God, that could never, that was me. I was like, that is harsh, because that's like, no, I was fighting against it. But you know what? You're right. I cannot be responsible for people's decisions and actions and the consequences of their actions. Now I have to make it my burden to bear. Now, if someone is out of their scope of realm, like I've had relatives or family that had strokes and they really could not take care of themselves. And it wasn't because, they just was eating bad and this and that. It was for like pregnancy stuff. That is completely different. This was out of the person's, control. This was a freak accident. Maybe they got into an accident and stuff like that. You cannot think like that. I mean, use your common sense and discernment. If someone's really genuinely cannot do it without you, I'm not saying, oh, my mental health first. Let this person rot. They didn't bathe. They can have bed sores. That's their problem. My mental health. Come on. I'm not by no means saying that, but the ones that actually like, listen, I don't know what you're going to have to do, but I can't do this, and even when you are a caregiver, there has to be limits. I used to work at an assisted living facility, and one thing I'd say, and I worked there very temporarily, I couldn't do it. I tried, y'all, I could not do it very temporarily, okay? One thing I learned really quickly, I don't judge families that put their loved ones in assisted living facilities, because it's not just old people in there. There's young people, all types of people in there that just, their families can no longer take care of them because it takes its toll. There's something called caregivers fatigue, where you're caring for someone so much. Nurses go through it too. A lot of doctors, they tend to be so depressed, they take their own life. And it's just a lot. It's a toll on you to watch someone deteriorate, everything. Again, from experience, I know this. And Sometimes you have to take a step back and say, no, wait, this is too much. I need a moment. Let me get outsourced help to help me with that. Or ask the person, hey, somehow we're going to have to find other people to help with this load with me too. I can't just be the only one. A lot of you guys, you people pleasers, hear me close. You're the only one in your family that everyone dumps everyone else's medical issues onto. You take in everyone into your home who's having a medical crisis. None of the other family members help. Maybe you're the sibling that took in your mom or your dad, and none of your other siblings make it their responsibility, but you feel like, okay, I have to, I'm not going to say no, I'm the people pleaser. You hold none of them accountable because of the people pleasing, and you don't find no other sources to help yourself because you really just don't feel. I know I'm talking to somebody. I'm preaching to somebody right now, okay? You feel like even getting help is an insult to your family. Don't do this to yourself. You're deteriorating yourself. You're aging. Caregiving is a very selfless work, very selfless work. And because it's selfless is because you're sacrificing yourself literally, mentally, physically. You're sacrificing yourself. And it's not for everybody. And it's okay to say that. Some people can really do it cheerfully. There are people like that, but not everyone. People can help charitable in other ways, but it takes a toll on them. There's like real studies done on this. This is not Kareen just smoke and mirrors. Like I'm telling you, it's real work. But let's move on. Next is you feel burdened by the things you have to do. If you're constantly feeling tired and overwhelmed, when you look at your list of stuff, like say you agreed to do something with someone. That used to be me. I agreed I'll go out to lunch or dinner or whatever. And as the days are approaching, I'm getting more and more stressed. Oh my goodness, I got to do this. You said yes because you was putting that person's feelings before yours. That's a people-pleasing thing there. You didn't really want to do that. I found that. Or when you give yourself obligations on behalf of other people, like you'll agree to something. Like, again, telling on myself, I used to write papers for people and I'd be super busy with my own work and stuff. Sometimes I get paid for it. Sometimes it's the kindness in my own heart because maybe it was not right. That was something I used to do in college to get money. Okay. Hey, that was the safest way to get money. If you catch my drift, I wasn't going to go no other alternatives. Maybe it's like a nurse who has like a single mother who's back in school and has to work so hard. It's like this one paper, I just cannot, Kareem, please help me. I'll just do it like that. And I just felt like I could not say no. And even if it meant I had my own paper coming up, etc. And as the time you're doing it, you just feel so overwhelmed. Sometimes you have great intentions, like people pleasers who have great intentions. They say yes because they genuinely, a lot of people pleasers just want to save the world. They want to help everyone. They want to lift everyone's burdens. But like my therapist said, you cannot save the world. You cannot save the world. You're not God. Only God can save. Okay? You can do the best you can. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're given everything that's in you, you'll have nothing left to pour. You cannot pour from, look, you can't give what you don't have, okay? And a lot of you guys are giving away too much. Next is you feel uncomfortable if someone is angry at you. Again, that stems with making yourself responsible for other people's feelings. You cannot take it when someone's mad at you or disappointed. Like you want to quickly fix it. What's wrong? What can I do? Like, you're out here kissing people's buttocks because you just cannot take them. Like me, I've come to this point. I say just now, recently, I'm like, okay, you're mad, so what? That's me. I know it sounds harsh, but listen, years of work here that I'm like this. I'm like, you're mad because I did something that was best for me, spiritually, physically, mentally, whatever. So what? If you can't, process your emotions, that's on you. That's not my responsibility. That's how you got to think. But you got to sit in that uncomfortability. Silence in the terms like you're fighting. Like, I can't do it. I have to break the silence, fix it. What's wrong? Let me make you happy again. What could I do? And you want to fix it so bad, you over-volunteer yourself. Oh, it's nasty work. It's nasty work. Next is you have no identity of your own. You become whoever is around you. You become whoever is around you. You have no identity. Like, people pleasers just want to make everyone happy, so they blend in no matter where they get to. If I'm in this group, then I accommodate this group and I'm all of a sudden talking like them, have their lingo, etc. And then when I move to this group, I'm like that too, because you just don't want to rock the boat. You want everything to be so peaceful, and you feel like the best way is to not be yourself, not be your authentic self. Oh, it's some nasty work, I'm telling you. Next is you go to great lengths to avoid conflict. You cannot, it goes with the, not wanting to fight, putting people's emotions before yours, and feeling responsible for people's feelings. You just do not want to fight. So you go through great lengths, like buy people gifts. A lot of people pleasers will buy you off. I used to do that too. I messed up. I thought I messed up, but I really didn't. You buy gifts, you do favors, like, what can I do? Because you just don't want to fight. Sometimes you just have to fight. You just have to fight. And sometimes you have to let the person fight by themselves. And you just like, okay, you fight like this. That's your feelings. You're entitled to that. Okay. You can't avoid conflict for the rest of your life. Okay. Nasty work. The next is you dismiss your own hurt feelings to spare the feelings of others, which goes into putting people's feelings before yours, feeling responsible for people's feelings. You just dismiss yourself. You belittle yourself. You shrink yourself to put people first. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy, guys. Wow, 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 wow. People pleasing is crazy. And you don't want to burn yourself out. You don't want to do that. Now, like I said, I put some books on the screen for you guys to know where to at least start. They have some free audiobooks here on YouTube on people pleasing. You can watch videos like this and hear other people's testimonies. Because one of the things that really helped me is hearing about other people's struggle with it too, that you didn't feel alone and you could be like, oh my goodness, I relate. And then they give you their tips on how that works. Don't ever neglect to comment in the comment section. You never know who you're helping. I love my comment section the most on this channel because of that. But also watch other videos on this topic. Read the books, do the audibles. If you can't afford the books, find some free ones on YouTube. They have them. Yeah, YouTube is just a gem and it's free. Okay, just watch a couple ads if you don't have premium, but it's free. But also go to therapy. Therapy you cannot neglect. But the biggest therapist of all, I wouldn't be Kareen. Yeah, I know I'm going there, is God. It's God, amen. Because let me tell you something. People pleasers, a lot of y'all start to put the feelings of other people even before God. People pleasing can take your salvation from you. I'm telling you, because you start to want to please people, please the world, please everyone around you so much that you neglect pleasing God. And that is a problem. So I really want you guys to consider that, work on that, pray on that, and make sure that next time, don't say yes to things that you're not ready to say yes to, okay? Now, I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to comment below. If you have any book recommendations, especially on this topic, comment below. You never know who you could help. And also share this video with someone. And if you watch till the end, make sure you thumbs up and leave a comment. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.